everyone goes silent.
Hi.
I know I can't take that back.
All right, we are live now.
All right.
Cool. Hello, everybody.
All right, this is AUX Return. I'm Matt Blake. This is Tristan Dolce, and we have in the studio with us tonight the BLOOD MOON HOWLERS. Before we jump into the interview, we have so much to talk about. Can we get a tune out of you first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's show them this one called Moonlighters.
Awesome. We are joined by Matt, Juju, and Brandon, and they are the Blood Moon Howlers. How's it going, guys?
It's going
Good, man.
well.
Thanks so much for coming out, you know.
Dude,
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's nice to be going again, you know.
Any chance
Nice to be
play
doing
live
something
music
again.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all feeling that, right?
Yeah, we're just talking. It's like we feel like we're a Steely Dan band now because we only do like studio band, you know, since there's no live shows at the moment.
So what have you guys been doing in these strange times to keep up with your craft, keep up with songwriting, or are you in the studio, or are you doing a lot of live streams as everyone else seems to be doing?
All of the above, I think. You know, tons of songwriting. We both, Juju and I and Brandon, have studios, so we do a lot of recording and
Nice.
Trying to write every day. And we've been doing as many of these types of things as we can. We just did Burning Man last night, and we're doing that again tonight. And before that, we did Jam in the Van and stuff. So we're trying to keep busy with all of this any chance we can, man.
Totally.
Live stream tour, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's much easier than getting in a van, right?
They just got in a van.
Oh, sure.
It's back
Well,
in a van. It's back
getting
in a van
and
again.
going to Arizona.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. We took our tour van here just so we could like
It's an
Pretend.
excuse.
sit in
Yeah.
it. Sit.
We get the alternator, charging the battery,
Yeah,
and
that
everything.
too.
Yeah.
We've been having to go out and like start it every few days because we didn't for a little bit when this all first started and the battery died. So
Jeez.
True story.
yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about the new record or the newer record, but I think maybe let's start with the first full live record. Can you tell me a little bit about that recording process and kind of like how it differs from something like what we're doing here tonight?
Well, so that was for our record Man Man's Ruse. And Mad Man's, not Man Man's. Sorry. Late night. That one we did at the studio called Ultimate Studios Inc. with this awesome dude, Charlie Waymar. And he was great in that he came out to see us play live and tried to really dive into the sound that we were trying to go after at that time. And so it was really cool. You know, we wanted a real live, energetic feeling thing. So we were in the room together while we were recording it all, you know, and the guitars were, it's all one shot. And he did this whole really cool thing where when he would mic the guitars, I think he would throw up 2 on each amp that we were using, and then he would throw up all these different microphones around the room to like just really capture that room sound. So like, and we were kind of going for a little bit of like a Van Halen thing where you can kind of hear like Eddie on the left or whatever, or right. I kind of forget. Sorry, but then he would throw all the like reverb and the room mics like on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, so you get that real spacious feeling with just one take kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, and you were saying that he had such a nice room. Why
He's
let
got a great
why
light.
let
Yeah,
it-
how big is that room?
Oh man, I don't know square footage wise. I'm bad at viewing that. You know, I'd say it's similar to if this room didn't your guys' studio here didn't have the vocal booth here, and the ceilings were probably another 5 feet higher.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, like I feel like if I owned a space like that or worked frequently in a space like that, I'd have mics installed in the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah,
Just like, because, you know, if you have a space like that, why let it go to waste?
yeah.
That'd be so cool if you had like a compartment up there and then you could just swap out the mic if you wanted to or something.
Yeah. I had a dream about this, I think.
Because when we were tracking drums in there, it was fun because we'd throw, you know, room mics at the very back of the room super high up, you know, so we had like 4 sets of room mics, and you had your nears, you had your like wide rooms, then you had like, you know, like kind of right in front of the drum kit kind of thing. And I think, you know, the fun part of that was the point at the time was because it was very much like, as far as the songwriting goes, like very blues format, but how do we bring a new energy to it? So it was like no click, every song has to be like in one take, you know, but the energy I felt really translated from that because we were really trying to capture the essence of like playing live with that as opposed to like tracking to a click and building on top of that. It was like whatever the fundamental rhythm tracks we tracked in one take was it, and then overdubs for solos or whatever on top of that.
So what was he bringing to the table in terms of like a sonic tone? You said that he kind of dove in and like tried to understand what was happening in the live show and translate that the best he could to a record.
Well, I feel like so many producers, you can just get locked into the thing that they do.
Right.
You go to them and they just do their sound on you or
Yep.
whatever. And I liked that he tried to accommodate what we were doing and add his own 2 cents into it and stuff.
Totally.
and so we appreciated that a bit.
Nice. Do you guys want to jump into another tune, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the recording of the new record?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
This one's called
you know-
Tilted
Give
Patrons.
me 1 second.
This is the Blood Moon Howlers on AUX Return.
There you go. All right.
Y'all ready?
Shuffle plans. Some monkey by the hooch. Oh, not remember what's been done. Here we are, same old thing again. Packing away the lonely stars. They don't seem to mind. Seem to mind. Yeah.
Well, because everything's on.
Yesterday seems so far away. Still too late. Come on, baby. Said I'm at another honey. Know that that's what we need. Kansas City got me tonight. To a night in the street.
That's the Blood Moon Howlers on AUX Return with Tilted Patron. So that single is on the upcoming record, is that correct?
That one's actually already up on Spotify.
Right.
And I
But it
think-
will be a part of like
I
a
think we
new full
decided
length?
I think we're going old school. Like we're gonna do straight up like the Johnny Cash thing now, where we're just gonna put out a bunch of singles, and then at the end of the year, give it a name and some artwork, and slap it all out again. You know, so that way we can keep stuff coming out quick, and not get it all backed up and everything, and
So,
put some bonus songs on there. and
yeah,
stuff
put
like
some
that.
bonus things on there.
which leads us into talking about how you guys have been recording recently.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come about because of everything that's going on right now, or did that kind of start happening because you guys were already doing that? Since you have your own studio, I know Brandon has his own studio. Did you start recording it with that in mind, to kind of release singles into some sort of full length?
I think it's something that we've talked about a good bit, but with everything going on, it definitely was kind of the final kick into the whole thing, you know, because it was like right now we feel that everyone needs entertainment and music and just as much as they can get, you know, so we want to be more regular with what we're putting out instead of just trying to slap it all out with, you know,
Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Keep going. Was that transition, was that easy for you guys to do, or did it take was it any hiccups or anything?
Yeah, because we
with it?
did grow up in an era of like albums, so there's a bit
Right.
of nostalgia with all of us. Like, but it's gotta be, but it's, you know, it's gotta be an album, man.
It's got to all have the same tone throughout. Yeah.
And I think, but we're game, whatever.
Yeah, you know, because I think it's that thing of taking, like, I'm working with a group right now, like, producing and engineering their album, and it's such a behemoth to take on recording an album that's, like, as soon as you start the process, it's at least going to be 3 months if you're cooking with it, you're really rolling, you know, but you're probably
Is
looking
that
at
pun?
more
Brandon Cook.
Brandon
ladies and
Cookin
gentlemen.
records. But, you know, it's like you're looking at more like 6 months to a year in the recording process, then you have time for the PR and just like all the, you know, legalities and business that go along with releasing a record, where we're going, you know, when we write a song, it's like we're really passionate about it at the time, and we kind of just want to get it out while we're excited about it too, because it's like a lot of those songs, by the time you put them on a record, they're so old. And of course, they're new to everyone else, but you don't have like the same enthusiasm about it, where there's something to me really fun and energetic about, like, you're working on it, you get it done, you get it to mastering, and you put it through like the PR machine, you do your thing with it, and then it's out. And like keep releasing that in that kind of old school way of having like all the singles compiled on like a long play and sequenced in a way that still tells a story. Because I think even with releasing the singles, it's still telling a story of like our thought process right now, what we're going through, like what we're thinking about, and like sequencing it in that kind of way in the record, and then adding like some extra songs to tie it all into like a record format. You know, because I mean, I'm a vinyl nerd. I like still like love fucking having that shit. If you go out to a show and you buy a band's vinyl and you go back and listen to it on your, not on your Krausley, but on your nice hi-fi.
Thank you.
Know?
We're
I appreciate
definitely
that.
gonna vinyl for our next one for sure.
How has the process been for you guys? I mean, because obviously we've been having to stay apart a little bit more than prior. How have you guys been collaborating remotely, or have you been getting together to do these recordings?
We've been respectful, you know, but we've been getting together and keeping our distance, and you know, I guess one thing is, you know, Juju and I have been building up the tracks a bit more on our own, and then bringing it to Brandon, and then having to redo it a bunch because Brandon always has good ideas, so we're always like, okay, send this section.
Yeah, I guess that's a benefit of all, you know, being in the same room. You get the input as it, you know, as it happens.
It's been a little different with like a couple of these new ones because, well, Moonlighters and even Tilted Pages, we kind of got to play live and on tour and kind of get that reaction and that feedback, and that we kind of got to like critique it. And as we were going into the studio, we felt more comfortable with it. But with like a couple of the new ones that we've been recording, we haven't been able to play them live or anything like that, so we're just kind of building them and
just trying to be real hard on them.
Yeah.
Because we're like, without being able to check it live and really see, it's like we're trying to like use all the experience that we've built up being on the road and all that kind of stuff, trying to see like imagine like what it would feel like to play it and everything. And
we're kind of trying to like, I guess, demo it a lot and kind of build the track, and then we show, you know, kind of go back and forth with it a bunch, and just like
even then it's tough because they'll, you know, have it at this like nearly finished state, come to me, and then usually it's like the first time I'm like really hearing it. So tracking drums for a song is usually like an all-day event because like I'm trying out ideas, tracking it, listening back, going like, no, that's not working, and then we'll do it like cool, and then a week later I'm like, no, that's not working, and then, you know, so it's like you're kind of doing it in a reverse order, where a lot of that stuff we hash out on the road of just like, and a lot of mistakes that happen when we're on the road turn into really beautiful parts within the song. So, you know, a lot of these songs have like interesting parts to it that came out of like mistakes, or like somebody like dropping something, you had to carry a section out while they like found where their guitar cable went, or whatever like might happen while you're on stage, turns into some really cool parts sometimes. And I think, you know, I miss that aspect, but this is much more tedious but much more fun, and just like how deliberate it is when you're going in there and like working out the parts so much until you're just like, nope, this is right. And there's a difference between like being like, this is right and this done, because to me it's never done. You could always go back and retrack it a million times, but like no, this is right, and knowing when to call it instead of like sitting there nitpicking it to death until it doesn't have any energy left.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it seems like what certain things seem like to me is that it's been a lot more introspective lately. Like you really got to find where it used to be, you get confidence from the crowd and everything. Now it's a lot about finding like, okay, I gotta own this, right? Do you guys share the same feeling where it's now I gotta get my confidence higher to be able to yeah, this is what I did. You know,
gotta be able to zoom out a little bit and be able to critique it like that. Because usually we would go, play a song live, and immediately we'd all know, like, okay, this part didn't work, this part worked, you know, just naturally
Instant
with the feedback and stuff. So now we're just, we're really trying to, like, zoom out and just kind of analyze it and do our best with it.
Yeah, that's the term we always throw around when we're in the studio.
Zoom out.
Like, zoom out.
Zoom out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just your guitar part, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
It's not just your drum part, you know, what does it feel like as a whole? What is it, you know, what is it conveying?
We'll joke with each other if, like, you know, there's something that we're trying, and it's just like, you gotta let everyone go through the process, but it'll be like, you know, Matt will be like, oh, you're trying to get on the cover of Modern Drummer with that one? Or like, I'll look at Matt, be like, trying to get in Guitar Hero Weekly or something, you know, like. And I think that's been some of the nice part about this quarantine, you know, is like when it first started and they came out with the guidelines, we're going, oh, there's no live show, so really the guidelines are just how we live anyway, very reclusive, and in our studios, like not really seeing other people. So it gave us a chance to really reflect on like what is important with the music, because I think there's so many musicians that it's like, music is my life, and now that there's no live shows, I'm like so devastated. And it's like, yeah, we're really bummed too, but like we like to showcase like how we enjoy life through our music, not take that as like a selfish thing of like live shows give me life. It's like, no, I like to bring my joy of life and put it out through the music, out or whatever I'm feeling, out through that, as this kind of give and take that you have with the crowd. And so to have a more introspective step back into bringing that into the recording process has been really fun in a way.
That's an awesome way to approach this world. That's a much better outlook than maybe I have, or a lot of the outlooks that I've heard of. Yeah, bringing the live show to the tape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, we did. It's been a little bit of an interesting like learning curve doing as many live streams as we've been doing, because like the first one we did, it was like
rough.
Oh my god, like we're so used to having people there, and we're like rocking out, and then we're like, okay, next song. Like there's just so interesting, and like just to have that energy, you know, bring everything just to like, you know,
I think it took us to a new level, actually.
Yeah.
Because when you're live, you know, our first goal was like, okay, well now everyone's at shows with like their videos, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So we're like, we want to like get to a place where we sound really good anytime we like watch back one of their stories or whatever. So that was like our goal for a long time. And then we hit this point of like, we would watch these things back and be like, yeah, right on, sounds good, you know, like we're a good band, whatever. And like then when this thing happened, it just took us to this whole new level of like, okay, so like you have that under the microscope feeling of recording, but also you're supposed to be entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, all the time.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And so we started recording ourselves a lot during rehearsals and like really critiquing, like, okay, we need to fix this, we need to do that, and it really helped us a lot. I feel like
and a lot of these things, we're very fortunate today, we can actually hear ourselves, but most of the time you have that type of like situation, but you can't hear yourself, so it's just like hope for the best.
Yeah, this is awesome. This
Yeah. such a treat, such a luxury.
Really is,
Awesome, good to hear. Let's jump into another tune, and then we'll talk more about maybe specific details on the record. But what are we playing up next?
Got this tune called Buckled Under.
You know what? Is it actually possible just to turn Matt's vocals down just a touch?
Sure.
Just
He's
a
not
touch.
singing on this one
I know,
too,
but just
so
so before I forget for the next one.
I'm no, sorry. Are you going to sing on this one with me?
I was pretty blaring on that last one. I was like, yeah.
It's like, can't hear the guitar, but I can go off Matt's vocals where we are.
I have one ear on, so there's just at least one ear is good. But I was looking at you, I'm like, yeah, your ears must be dying. Yeah, we were getting used to usually not being able to hear each other at all, so this is a new experience. Yeah.
Ready when you are.
All right.
This is the Blood Moon Howlers on AUX RTN with Buckled Under. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the specifics on this new one. So or I guess on these new singles that you're working on. Where are you recording these?
So we have our home studio. So we have our studio, and then Brandon has his studio.
So everything's kind of done piecemeal, where you guys bring something, send it to Brandon, get the drums done alone.
Well, so we've done a couple things so far. So this last tune that we just recorded, we got a couple new ones actually. So one of the ones we actually just recorded to a drum machine and then brought everything to Brandon, and then he recorded to our tracks. But another one we did kind of this hybrid. Brandon and I were just jamming together in the room, and we would do it to a click for certain parts of the song. But then there was these like halfway through, there's like a total like tempo change thing. So it was like the first half of the song we did to a click, and then after that we just went like all free time together and stuff. And that was more like we did last time, where we were kind of in the same room together, actually playing to get the takes and stuff like that. So
very nice.
Hybrid. You know,
yeah.
But basically, where everything's getting recorded mainly is drums at Brandon's place, and then we do everything else at our place, with few exceptions though. Like definitely we've gone into Brandon's for guitars and bass.
Yeah,
and
I think
like that.
we did everything besides vocals for Moonlighters at my spot, Ironwood Recorders. We did everything there, right?
Yeah, Moonlighters. We did the vocals in our living room, and if you listen really closely, you can hear a lot of Highland Park in the background, motorcycles, and but it gave us a good vibe.
We're having some technical difficulties.
We had a little bit of routing issues in here, so you got to unplug the mic, But
Okay.
What? While recording, issues come up. What? Never.
Don't tell them on this podcast about that. We're trying to inspire people to record here.
Not that you're gonna pull your hair out for half of it, trying to figure out why you're getting a buzz.
So describe the spaces that you're working in. So you're mentioning the Highland Park space at your living room. I mean, where you're recording most of the stuff. Like, what's the environment? Or what's the space that it's actually getting recorded in?
So we have what is that, plexiglass?
Like I think it's Clear Sonic is the company,
Okay.
and we have one of their like vocal booths.
Oh, okay.
So depending on how we're feeling, we'll I think a lot of the vocals we do in there. I guess with the exception of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
But
do you cover them with blankets?
Yeah, we have some like sound. What is it?
Well, it's like a
I'm thinking of the name
plexiglass
right
thing,
now.
and then it has like it's actually all enclosed when you're in there.
Got it.
And then we put blankets on top and everything too.
Yeah.
But usually it's for when we've lived places where we had to like try and be really quiet to not piss off our neighbors. And the neighborhood we're in right now, luckily, which is so awesome, is like everybody's loud and everyone, no one cares. So we can. It's actually to keep out the noise from the city.
Yeah. So the guy next door recording a record doesn't make it onto your record. Yeah.
So, but we were doing this thing where we wanted to on Moonlighters for the chorus. I wanted to do I wanted to triple it. So I had to Brandon actually gave me
The Michael Jackson thing, the
Michael
Bruce
Jackson
Sweeting
thing,
thing of like you double the vocals by stepping back 3 feet each time and compensating the gain for it.
So I was doing that, but in order to do that, I had to do it in the living room because we're just doing it in our little
Gotta take a pee, you guys. I'll be right
duplex
back.
area, so it's not a very big space. And then depending on like how hot it's been and everything too, we have to turn our air off and everything. So if it gets too hot in the vocal booth,
Open it up, fan it out, air it out.
it gets sweaty for sure.
God, that is always such a Sophie's choice of recording, like turning your air conditioner on and off
Yeah.
throughout.
What I love is like, you have in the more like, especially in TV studios and some recording studios have it where you have the big industrial air. So wherever you call it, like just piping in from the top. So it's just like in between takes, you just pump it on and just cold air floods into the room. And you're just like, all right, leave that on for 5 minutes while they listen back, make some edits, and then like turn it off and start recording again.
Yeah.
And Brandon Studios in the
Yeah, so my spot, I really lucked out with it. I started doing some recording for a church and like helping them with some sound needs, and they had this extra office no one wanted because it was in the basement with no windows and like no cell service, and I was like, this is perfect. Like you guys use this? They're like, no. So I worked out a thing of like renting that from them. and basically set up shop, which is the size of like a production studio, but I tend to record late at night, so I can kind of use the nearby rooms and run amps out there and get like the reverberance from like the room where they have like youth group and stuff. But you know, I kind of go in like after business hours and do my thing in there. So I track drums there, I do a lot of mixing there, overdubs there. It's really worked out. Honestly, it's just been great to have a room to put all the gear I've been hoarding for the past whatever years I've been living in LA that's lived in people's garages. Yeah. All the gear that Matt throws out that I'm like, you throwing out gear? I'll take that. And,
yeah, it's like pretty much weekly that I'll get a call from Matt. And he's like, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, well, it's broken, right?
No, of course.
It works if you fix it.
If you fix it. You know, Matt and
perfectly fine.
Matt, so I guess I should clarify. Matt Blake and I would, since there's two Matts in here, we used to have the greatest Saturdays.
It's like I gave you broken gear too.
Yeah, you have. People know I give good homes to broken gear with my stack. Like I have a workbench of just like compressors and pre's and mics that are just stacked to the ceiling of like, I'm going to get to this one day. And the 1176 has been sitting there for the past 5 years. But it's because, you know, it's like Matt Blake in there, not Matt Corrette right here to differentiate. We used to have like the system down. We'd go to Apex on Saturdays, dig through the scraps and see if we could find any good recording equipment, then go get barbecue tri-tip.
Ooh, yeah.
What was that? Was it Good Mart? What's the name of that place?
It was Handy Mart.
Handy Mart, yeah.
Handy Mart.
But one of the two places in the valley that must go.
Yeah. The Handy Mart, Saturdays.
Handy Mart better than Hoggly Wogglies?
It's different
name.
barbecue. Different barbecue.
Oh, okay.
It's not Texas.
Oh, wait, what?
Handy Mart, Burbank, Magnolia. If they're listening, they can sponsor us. If they don't want to sponsor us, don't go there.
Is Handy Mart the chicken place?
Yes, yeah, it has chicken. But Saturdays they do tri-tip.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Sometimes it's not good, but most of the time it's good.
Well, it sounds like a rave review.
The Matt's Yelp review. Every now and then it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to lie to you. Because, you know, people put things on, people, you know, hype things, and then if it doesn't live up, then it's like, oh, you know, fuck you, Matt.
Sure.
People write Matt a bad Yelp review. If you go to Yelp and type in Matt Blake, you can leave him a good or negative review for his talking role on AUX RTN.
Well, the Yelp, my apartment had a Yelp for a while. I think you made it.
Probably. One drunken night at your apartment.
When we were doing our other podcast.
I picked up some gear from this place. It's broken.
Yeah. Matt and I used to have the best idea for a podcast where basically we would just drink tequila and play records, and by the end of it, it was like the needle was like, and like you'd be like, this track is called blah blah blah, and you throw on a totally different record. It was great.
Yeah, that's great.
That's why we've been hiatus for about 8 years.
More for health reasons.
Yeah.
Well, then you
That's
ran
a
out
good
of needles.
concept, though. Get the records going with some tequila. Eventually, it'll be fun. You know.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to jump into another tune right now?
Sure.
Or you guys were talking about playing two back to back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Which tunes are those?
So these are both off that Madman's Ruse album that we were talking about. This one's the first one we're gonna do is called Drunk and Cold, and the second one's gonna be called. Wait, I messed this up last night.
You did, yeah.
I was
myself.
lose myself in parentheses bar 9. Last night I said bar 9 in parentheses lose myself.
We know
like
the names
to
to our songs.
name our songs with parentheses all the time.
Well, bar 9 was the piece that was more impactful for me.
Yeah.
I meant to ask, how long are those live streams for Burning Man?
The one we did last night was an hour, and
Okay.
then the one tonight is a half hour.
Seems
And,
like a slog, for sure. Like an hour in front of a camera. Like,
Well, we did a live stream with Bridge Family Productions, which is the studio that's hosting because I think they're doing 3 different studios, like one in LA, one in Seattle, and one in San Francisco. I think that's still the plan. And they're kind of hosting whatever bands, I guess, can make it there. And then I
In
guess they're
LA,
kind of
yeah.
trying to figure out if people need a live stream from home or whatever it is. But we did a live stream with them a few weeks back, and they asked us to play for 3 hours. Is that how
Yeah,
long
I
we
think we
did?
ended up doing about 2:30, 2:40 in there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that one was so cool,
Jeez.
though, because we were out of practice, so that we had no time to think about, like, whether anything, so we just
And then
kinda
people
went
were
in, and it was-
requesting things, and we were just like kind of having fun with it.
That actually was the first show back where we felt like, hey, that was kind of like a live performance a little bit, where we had, like, on our phones, we had the comments and stuff up. So in between songs, we were like taking drinks with people and like trying to like we even
answer questions.
Yeah, we took a request and played a
Tom
fucking
Petty.
Tom Petty song.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Back to the good old bar band days,
Yeah, and we tried out one of our new ones that isn't even released yet. Like,
Yeah, it was a while.
or that we've even worked out yet.
so they got to see a different side, of kind of intimate side of his cool.
That was cool though.
Yeah, we were joking last week that we're pretty much this close to starting to take phone calls.
You said the request hour.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like some call us with your bad mix or your recording questions.
Wait, no, you're questionable mix.
You-
Question.
You guys could be
bad.
like the
That's-
car guys on NPR on Saturdays,
Exactly.
but like the Matt and Tristan, like the recording guys, you call in on.
I love
It's Monday nights,
I love it. Questionable mix is now the segment.
Yeah.
All right.
Questionable. I love
Call up now, 855-868686.
When we're about to release something, we'll just come back on the show again, and you guys can rip apart our mixes. Just make me cry. Like, your low end shit. There's phasing all over the place.
God, that snare?
You call that a snare tone?
Jesus.
Are you sure you want to use that compressor?
I mean, this is just my opinion, guys, but I mean, I would have done it with like fucking more compression. It's gonna get real nerdy on this hour.
Yeah, like I know you track your own drums, but have you heard of any like Slate Trigger, like some drum replacement tones?
Right.
Did you even have the speakers on?
Did you listen back to this at any point, or?
Oh man.
Yeah. That's why we're always trying to like, because we track it and then we produce it as a band, and Brandon mixes everything. So like we're always trying to like.
Just shout out to Hans real quick too. We got
And
this
Hans,
great
yeah.
mastering guy, Hans Decline.
He just saves our ass with everything,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
We're always
Right,
trying to
the
like
name
be
is
hard on
familiar.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of cool stuff.
Did Hurt Valley used him, right?
Maybe.
I think so. One of our earlier in the year,
Okay.
they artist I think used him.
Okay, yeah, he's awesome.
He's
We
a
use him
great
for everything.
engineer and just all around good guy.
Yeah,
Is he in Los Angeles?
yeah. He's in Santa Monica, I think, area or something like somewhere in Los Angeles. But yeah, he's awesome.
I
And
still
so-
have yet to have a margarita with him. though.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
a margarita date.
Yeah,
Long
he always
pending.
posts all these things about the different ways he's making margaritas, and I'm always like, want to hit him up on that more so than recording questions.
Yeah.
Different ways he mixes a margarita.
Margaritas,
You like,
exactly.
ask him for mixing techniques.
Yeah.
But
Dude loves
always-
margaritas, man. If you
Yeah.
see, what's one of the newer Star Wars when all the little pterodactyls are coming into like the visitor center and stuff, and everyone's like running away. There's this like.
I think that's
dude-
Jurassic Park.
I was like, Star
What did I
Wars.
say?
Star
Was it
Wars.
Star Wars?
So I was like,
Star Wars.
pterodactyls and
we
visitor
went to bed at
centers.
8:30 this morning. I was giving my excuse. Yeah, Jurassic Park. My bad, guys. There's a dude like diving, but he's holding his margarita and trying to get out of the way. That's Hans.
Yeah. But we're always trying to be real critical of everything since we're kind of doing, write it, produce it.
It's that thing of
record it,
stepping
track.
outside of it because it's hard to do
Yeah.
once you've been working on it for so long. That is the nice part of having like your guy for a mix engineer, or recording engineer, or mastering especially, because it's just like it becomes you're so deep in it that you can't remove yourself. Because I mean, especially when I was younger and doing mixing, I would sit there for like hours turning a vocal up and down 1 dB, and you're like, it doesn't make a difference. But like you're so in it
yeah.
that you like think
Yeah.
it does.
Or
you
when
know?
you have like a plug-in bypass, you don't even realize it. And you're
Yeah,
like,
you're like messing with it. You're like, I hear the difference. Like, oh, it's been bypassed this whole time.
Yeah, that's always when you gotta take a fucking break.
Yeah, you're like, I've been up too long.
yeah.
Yeah. When do you make the decision to let it go to someone else? Like, have you done that?
Like as far as a mix, or as
Right.
far as
Right.
well, we almost
tried a couple
did with
people, but
Moonlighters,
yeah,
and it
we-
just like
we haven't found-
I mixed Moonlighters before I went to India at the beginning of the year, and we had it like ready to go out, and then the PR people came back with a guy. They're like, "You got to use this guy. He makes it radio ready." And we're like, "What? Well, what does that mean?" Like the whole like radio ready
Sure.
thing. And we're like, and I have no ego when it comes to. I'm like, yeah, if there's people that have been obviously doing it way longer than me, way better than me. Fuck yeah, I'd much rather them do it. So I talked to him on the phone, and like, I kind of
he
got a
just
weird
bragging
vibe.
about gear.
He
or
was just
something?
bragging about his multiple houses and his gear, and bro, I got like a real LA2A instead of like my clone. I'm like, cool.
Got those real optos in it.
Yeah, because I was like, hey, I'm really particular with the drum tone. I really like using this overstayer, like stereo field effects. Shout out to Overstayer, Matt.
I'll shout out to that if they sponsor us.
Aren't you?
Are you just gonna bleep out these names? unless they're sponsored?
Shout out to
No, it's like, and he's just like, well, I have this and that, and I was like, okay, cool. So we sent it off to him. We got it back, and I feel like there's definitely things he approached differently in a way that cleaned it up. Where I'm like, oh, that was really cool in the way the bass sat, but like it sucked all the life away from the mix and all the things that we really enjoyed about the mix. He just kind of changed and made it. Not to offend people of this generation, but we called it like a boomer mix, where it's kind of like you just run it through like, this is what you do to a rock song, kind of thing. And so we just ended up going with my mix at the end. And
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, I've been in a position where I feel like I shouldn't mix this song, and I send it to someone else. And it always seems that when you make that, when you get to a point in a mix when you have to make a decision like that, it's already, the song and the mix is already too far gone to actually be, for you to actually be happy with it mixed by anyone.
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping one day it's just like, to me, to find a proper mix engineer is like finding the right producer or the right extra bandmate is really what it is. So it's like becomes this marriage where it's not just like so-and-so's going to mix it. It's like a relationship. Like we've talked about, if we're going to reach out to anybody from now, and I have my list of heroes, like I would love for them to mix our tunes, but I would like to get together with them and not even talk about music, just like become friends with this person. So it's more, you get each other's vibe of where you're coming from. Cause I think you could write a huge long email of like, well, we like it like this and like that. But I feel if you become good enough friends with somebody and just understand each other on like more of a social level, they'll get where you're trying to go with a mix or like what you're doing with music. And I think the same thing for a producer as well. But so I think that finding a mix engineer for a band is so hard, because it is like finding the right producer, finding the right bandmate. They have to get it.
You know how you could do it? Lunch with questionable barbecue and bourbon. That's the test.
Questionable. It may or may not be good.
So could we get these last two out of you guys?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. We have Animal in the drum. That's been the Blood Moon Howlers. This has been AUX RTN. Before we go, you guys have your own YouTube stream, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we have a couple. We have our Beard Talk with the Blood Moon Howlers.
Oh yeah, it's our podcast. We
Our
started.
award-winning podcast that is
take
actually
Self-
taking over Rogan soon.
Self-awarded.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got
don't-
them on quite the run right
Don't take over this one.
No, of course not. Only
We gotta have
Rogan.
you
We're gunning
guys
for
on.
Rogan.
We gotta have them.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah. You guys gotta come on Beard Talk.
Yeah.
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 We don't talk about beards at all.
That's the shtick of it.
No beard talk.
What do you talk about?
Random ass shit.
Yeah. The last one got to be like 2 hours long or something. Like, okay, we gotta figure out.
We're
What-
like,
what
wait,
is it?
so Rogan does like 2-hour episodes?
Yeah,
Let's
we're
do
gonna do-
fucking 4.
Yeah.
What is a typical topic?
No, we do talk about
Depends
beards.
on the person.
Yeah, we talk about different silly questions about beards and
Life.
Like, what was one of our favorite ones that like, is your beard a
So we
hunter
use
or a
the
gatherer?
beard talk, the beard questions as a way to segue and like let the conversation just go totally rampant. Basically, we'll do things like one of the ones that I came up with is your beard a hunter or a gatherer? And like so then we'll hunter. Sorry, hunter. So we'll run with something like that for a long ass time.
Sure.
Or like.
Or like, what's the hardest food to eat? Or
Oh yeah, what's the
With a
hardest
beard.
food to eat with a beard? Like spaghetti or some shit
Soup.
like that. Or like
Soup, especially with the mustache, the soup.
yeah, how do you groom it? Like, we have a ton of questions to go through, and then it always just leads to all these different.
oh,
silly
beard
questions.
insecurities.
Oh yeah.
Like if you have like a part of your beard that doesn't grow in or something
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
We
Sure,
talk
I'm
about the
familiar.
hardships of
Yeah, I'm about I'm now 8 months on the side part. You wouldn't know it, but I haven't shaved the side part
Just
for 8
this
months.
particular
yeah,
part of
the
your face.
side part of the beard.
See, perfect. And how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel proud of myself. I didn't shave it.
Yeah.
Not happy that you can't tell.
But you stuck with it. See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Blood Moon Howlers on Facebook, Instagram, all the handles, all Blood Moon Howlers. That's where everybody could go find you. Again, this has been AUX RTN. Thank you guys so much for coming
Dude,
in.
Thank you guys
Yeah,
for
thank
having
you
us.
so
This
much.
was so much fun.
Yeah, it was
this is so
awesome.
good.
Thank you. You can find us at AUX RTN on Facebook, AUX RTN AUX_RTN on Instagram, and we're now on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple, and all the places you get your podcasts. So like and subscribe.
Yeah, if you are listening to this in podcast form, we do the show live every time we do it, and there's live video. So if you ever wanted to see what happens as we do it, the link should be up in our Instagram, and we'll update that with the new current link for the live stream. So check that out, and just keep your eyes on it, and we will be here live.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again. It's been a treat. Sounds awesome in here.
Yeah.
Thanks a bunch, guys. This has been the Blood Moon Howlers on AUX RTN. Thanks for hanging out.
I'll see you guys soon.
Are you?
My goddamn mind is wandering, been hanging around that song. I got tricked, felt it coming, been wrung out so many times before. I was lost to what's the cost, babe? Guess you brush it off, brush it off. Feel like the good Lord dipped you. Come on, get up off the ground. We all here 'cause we're not all there. Things you said with another round, with another round. With another round. You know that that's what we need. Oh, 'cause this city got me like, oh, till we're lying in the street. Got a couple of shuffle plans, some others beat by the hoops. Oh, memory of what's been done. Here we are, same old thing again. Hanging with the lonely stars. They don't seem to mind, don't seem to mind. Yeah. Yesterday seems so far away. The tilted pages feel no pain. Oh, said I've had another honey. Oh, you know that that's what we need.